Welcome to Lunchtime Chat. It is a Thursday. Very, very excited to be here. And I'm excited because I know that our viewers are glued and waiting to just participate on our topic of discussion on today's edition of Lunchtime Chat. I'm your host, Taizia Chela, and we're live on our Facebook page, KBN TV. If you've not yet liked our page, get to like our page right about now and drop us a comment there. We would love to know where you're watching us from and what you're doing. This is lunchtime. What are you cooking and who are you cooking for? I'd also love to learn whatever recipe that you are preparing this time around. We are live on GoTV channel 27, on DSTV channel 279, and Topstar on channel 102. And if you want to give us a call, just ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. The number is right on your screen. Well, today I have a very, very special guest all the way from World Vision, and this is no other than Ekwase Msoni Kiama, who is the Director Strategy, Impact and Learning, and we are looking at Christmas and giving back to the community. Good afternoon, welcome to Lunchtime Chat.
Good afternoon, thank you for having me.
All right, now I know this is the festive period and a lot of you are preparing presents, planning of where you want to go a bit with your family or who you would want to spend that time with, especially this time around. I know there are certain families that are not of the idea of traveling out, maybe because of a lot of things that get to happen during this period. So, but yes, we would also love to know what plans you have. Are you also going to make a donation, or how do you plan to just spend this festive period? And like I mentioned in the studio, I'm with Ekwase all the way from World Vision, and we're looking at Christmas and giving back to the community. Now let's talk about your department, Strategy, Impact and Learning. What is this department all about and what do you do?
Thank you so much, Taizia. Again, thank you for having me. Like you mentioned, my name is Ekwase Msoni, Director in charge of Strategy, Impact and Learning for World Vision Zambia. And my department covers monitoring and evaluation, strategy development and implementation, and knowledge management and research and learning, and then of course capacity building in other areas that I have mentioned. Okay. And in other organizations, they will simply call it monitoring and evaluation. So that's the department that I heard.
Okay. Now, looking at our topic of discussion, Christmas and giving back to the community, why is this important? Why is it important to just give back to the community, especially as an organization?
Well, thank you so much for that question. First of all, Christmas, as it's known world over, is a time for joy, time for celebration, time to be generous, time to give, time to receive for others, and time to just look at making a meaningful impact in the lives of those that are around us. And so for World Vision Zambia, this is a time that we have felt is an opportunity for us to give back to the community. We are an organization that is community-based, child-focused, and Christian. And so that for us gives us an opportunity to have a time of sharing with the community the blessings that the Lord has bestowed upon our lives. Yes, we do it through our work and through our families and all, but we want to get out of our comfort zone and share that which God has blessed us with the rest of the people in Zambia. So everybody in the other parts of the country where we are operating will be participating in giving back to the community this Christmas.
All right. And then just for an individual, let's say like me, why do you feel it's also important just for individuals to give back to the communities?
I believe we all have something to be grateful for, and we all are mindful of the fact that there are others that are less privileged than we are. And so if anyone has been looking for a time to just be a blessing or to put a smile on somebody's face out there, Christmas is just a perfect time for individuals like you and like everybody else that could be watching us right now. So what an opportunity and what an honor to be able to just be a blessing or a channel of blessing to others around us.
All right. And then how is World Vision preparing to celebrate this Christmas with its partners?
World Vision and its partners are looking at collaborating and coming together to just give back to the community in form of donations. There will be partnerships with churches, for example, where we're going to have pastors sharing a message of hope because much as it's Christmas time, there are people that are hurting out there. There are people that are looking for answers. The economy is not making it any easier. And so this is an opportunity where people decide to just close out to all of those challenges and come together to try and put their efforts within the means possible to just reach out to the community. So we'll be giving donations. There will be events in the various places where we work. And in some places, we're also going to invite men of God that will reach out to share the word of God and just bring hope to that man, woman, child, boy, girl out there in the community.
Okay. Do you feel the word of God would really help people? You know, there are certain people that say just the word of God will it put food on the table. But why did you also decide to just also include the aspect of having preachers to come and preach as you conduct your activities during this period?
All right. So there's a part where you are giving a gift. And you'd want to do this from a heart of prayer. Like I mentioned, World Vision is a Christian organization, and we believe that God has placed us in our jobs for a purpose. And so at this time of the year, we are not doing it on our own. We are also seeking God's guidance, and we feel that God, working with our partners, has called us to a space where we will do our part, meet the material needs of the people, but also address the spiritual aspect, because at that point in time, we may not know what somebody needs to hear. There could be a man or woman that is at the verge of giving up. So what a timely season to just share a word of hope and impact that life and have a change in whatever decision that was going to be destructive that they might have been making at that time that you are presenting the message to them. So it may not make sense for them or for another person, but at that time we feel, let us do what we can to bring hope to that soul out there.
All right. And then how does this initiative align with World Vision's mission, the initiative of giving back?
Well, World Vision's mission is it has women and children and the community at large at the heart of it, and we want to bring hope. We want to offer a helping hand as we do our work. And so our broader mission in terms of empowering especially the woman out there is actually being met through the initiative that we are undertaking, because we know that out there are marginalized women in correctional facilities, for example. Very, very few people would think about them. Some have gone in there with their children, and others are infants among those children. And so we believe that through this initiative, we are fostering a culture that will contribute to bringing hope to these people, bringing empowerment, because we are doing this with partners that will come up now and later to empower these women, so that when they are out of those facilities, they will have hope and they'll have a starting point, because all you need is empowerment with knowledge, empowerment with hope, knowing that this is not the end of the world. There is life after those prison walls, as in the example that I gave, focusing on women that are in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to ask, why just women in prison? You know, there are women out there who also maybe need that donation. Yeah, but why has it been that you want to focus on women in prison?
So for women in prison, you may agree with me that they have limited access to some of these basic facilities, basic care, especially those that are with children. And mostly they'll be considered marginalized because no one really thinks about them as being humans in their rightful sense of it. And they'll look at them as secondary human beings. But here we are choosing to look at everybody in the same way that God looks at all of us, because we are all made in the image of God as we believe. And so these women will get an opportunity at such a time as this to just receive presents that will help their children. So we are looking at items such as diapers, foodstuffs for the infants, and also just a sharing of information that will give them a hope of where to start from, like I mentioned earlier on. So these are women that are considered marginalized and not ordinarily every other vulnerable woman. Of course, everybody is vulnerable, but the levels of vulnerability when you look at the women that are closed up in a four-wall facility is different compared to somebody that is exposed to opportunities out there, hence reaching out to the women that are considered marginalized.
Okay. I know you mentioned that some of the items that you'll be donating, especially to women who are in prison, you would also probably add some diapers. What other items are you going to donate, especially to the children, and just what impact would you want this to have on children?
So outside that, there are a couple of toys for kids to keep them entertained. So we have that. And in terms of the care pack for the women, we also have the same for children. So for that time that will be there, the items will help them actually for an extended period, because they will have a chance to enjoy a healthy environment, a chance to use clean items, a chance to be able to also have, I would call it some fresh air, if you would like, because it's not on an everyday basis that they get to have some of these facilities. So for the child out there, at least they'll experience what normal children, by normal I mean children that are not with their parents in restricted facilities such as the prisons. And so we are looking at also contributing to this child's well-being, to this woman's well-being, to know that there is hope for tomorrow for them.
Okay. And what message does this initiative send about gender equality?
So when it comes to gender equality, first of all, we are looking at the woman. And this is very, very intentional, because women have a reason. Some of us are in places where we have opportunities that could be considered better than the other women, and looking at the focus for this year where we're reaching out to restricted women. And so we want to be able to contribute to building resilience of these women as they are out there, to be the light that these women need to see as they are out there. And so Forward Vision and Vision Fund as well, I must say, because we are sister organizations, we do realize that the larger majority of a population that is affected when it comes to vulnerabilities are women. And so at the heart of what we do is empowering the woman out there with knowledge and with the basic services, and with a message of hope, to just assure them that we are together, and that they are also appreciated as human beings in their own rights, and that the children that they are raising, even within those walls, still have a future. And we are hoping that this will not be the end of the support that we are providing, especially that we're doing it with other cooperating partners, that this will just be the beginning of many, and that many through this opportunity will be able to realize their purpose in life, and that we are also contributing to them having and living a dignified life.
Okay. So what sort of lesson would you want this donation to just send to even just women out there who are also not incarcerated, about just showing love or donating to people, especially women? What message would you want this to give to people out there, especially women?
The importance of sisterhood, the importance of seeing the best even in the woman that you consider marginalized, the importance of looking at the next person to be in the same way as you are, and that you could be the person they needed in their lives through your gift, through your smile, through your greeting, and whatever that you could do this season and seasons to come, for them to be appreciated or feel appreciated as a human being. And outside the world, I mean, you'd agree with me that women would look at ourselves or look at each other as being the enemy of ourselves. Mm-hmm. But we want to change that narrative. We want to be the change that we want to see. And so it's a challenge to every woman out there, including ourselves, to just seek to be that change, to change that narrative by doing what is unusual or what would be considered not ordinary, like the initiative that we are undertaking, going to visit women that are in the prison facilities.
All right. You see, watching Lunchtime Chat, and I'm having a conversation with World Vision. Of course, we're discussing Christmas and giving back to the community, and just why it's important to give back to the community this time around. And I feel it shouldn't just be during the festive period. I think this should be something that must go on, not only on Christmas or just during this period. And if you want to also share with us what plans you have for this festive period, the number is right on your screen. Don't forget that we're also live on our Facebook page. We would love to know what activities are you going to be doing this festive period, because World Vision is going to donate to women in prison. Of course, yeah, we call them correctional facilities. Yeah, they're going to donate there. So we'd also want to know what you'll be doing this time around. And if you want to give us a call, the number is right on your screen. Just ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Now, you mentioned that it's important for women to just have that sisterhood or show love to one another. But again, we're seeing women that are even in the habits nowadays. When somebody does something wrong to you, woman to woman, instead of just having a conversation, you see it, you're saying, no, I'm taking you to court. What would you say to such type of women instead of taking their friends? Because I know correctional facilities are not a good place to be in, as much as I've never been arrested before, but I hear it's not a good place to be. What would you teach women about avoiding a situation where no matter how small the difference is, to say we'll go to court or we'll go, I'll take you to the police? I think you saw that recently. I know how social media is. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's a very difficult conversation to have, but then it takes a person to make a move, to decide how you receive the actions that are pushed towards you. And if you understand who you are, regardless of what may be said about you, what may be done towards you, you'd want to first step back before you rush. Think about this woman. Imagine it was you. I remember when I was at Sunday school, they would always tell us to say, what would Jesus do in such a situation? And I'm making reference to this, one, because I'm coming from a Christian organization and I'm Christian myself. And so I would challenge the women out there, is it necessary, first of all, to go to court? Have you looked at all options? Have you talked? Because sometimes it's about having dialogue with a person, looking at that person, like I mentioned earlier, in a way that reflects yourself in them, to say, if I were them, would I be happy to be treated the way that I have been treated? And what will really be the benefit of this? What am I doing to this woman? Am I one of those women that wants to see a change in the way that we live as women, to just show love, especially in this season of love, of giving? It's an opportune time for us to step back as women world over, where we have those challenges. I believe we have those challenges beyond the Zambian borders as well. So why don't we stand up as women and say, well, let us talk. Tough conversations, yes, you have truth-telling with love, where you just say, look, I am hurt by what you did. Let's resolve this. Because taking it to court or spreading it on social media hurts even more. You don't know who's watching. And we know that social media doesn't forget. And so your children will watch whatever has happened, but that was taken to social media, and the children's children. And so it goes through all generations. Why don't we change it in this generation by facing issues head on, much as that may not be any easier for us to do?
All right. Now, as World Vision, how are you going to, or how will the impact of the donation be assessed?
So as World Vision, what we will aim at doing is to go back to the facility, collaborate, of course, with the authorities in place to seek feedback on how they're using or how they used and what difference these made. And if at all there were issues with the items that we provided, because that will help us in future initiatives. So we'll seek direct feedback from the authorities and from the beneficiaries themselves.
Okay. And how does this initiative contribute to Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs?
All right. So in terms of Sustainable Development Goals, we see this initiative contributing to 3 of them. That is Sustainable Development Goal number 5, which talks about gender equality. and Sustainable Development Goal number 10 that talks about reduced inequalities, and lastly, Sustainable Development Goal number 16 that talks about peace, justice, and strong institutions. As you may know, in most of these places, there is restrictions in terms of access to facilities. And so as we work towards contributing to these 3 goals that I've just outlined, we believe that we are also contributing to reduce disparities that exist, especially against women and children in the society, and that we are also promoting a culture of inclusiveness. And like I mentioned earlier on, promoting inclusive rehabilitation efforts, where it also gives hope to the people that are in there to realize that they are also counted as part of the larger population for which you are trying to influence. And in influencing the change through our efforts is change at the community level, at the household level, and at the systems level as well. Because in conversing with the partners that we are collaborating with in the correctional facilities, we are also being the voice of the voiceless as we are considering them. These are the women behind those 4 walls, and just hoping that through these efforts there'll be a time that there will be consideration on how they are looked at and what opportunities are provided to them to prepare them for a future beyond the correctional facility.
All right. And what would be your message to other organizations when it comes to emulating the work that you're doing as World Vision during this period, and as well as stakeholders and partners just coming on board to ensure that women who are incarcerated are also supported or taken care of? What would be your message? Why should they emulate you as World Vision?
Thank you very much for that question. Well, I believe that every good act blesses your heart. When you do something good, it brings joy to your soul as an individual. And as an organization, I believe most of the organizations have got a social corporate responsibility wing that they could use during this season, for starters, if they're not already doing that. Look at the vulnerable personalities that exist, or persons that exist in our communities. It could be women in other facilities, or children that are vulnerable that could be on the streets. So whatever form that may take, let us look and work at making a difference in the lives of those that we serve. Once upon a time, we were a part of these communities. We come from different backgrounds, and God has helped us through to get to where we are today. And in the positions where we are privileged to work in the different organizations, we can collaborate as women, especially because we form a larger part of a population, to be able to be that change that we want to be in the society where we work. So it could be an example that we are setting, and the others could already be doing that. It could be a scaling up of what you're doing in giving to the community, so that you help people experience an impactful kind of life through whatever form of giving that you undertake, in word, in deed, or in form of any donation that you may give.
All right. As World Vision, are you also open for partners? Like, there are other people that would want to partner with you as you do this donation, and when are you conducting this donation, and where will this donation take place?
All right, thank you very much for that. Of course, that's a very big yes to all the cooperating partners out there that are looking for a chance to give and a chance to support other women. And so we are doing this on Monday, 16th of December 2024. We'll be headed to Chimbokaila prison just here in Lusaka. We are already in touch with them, and they are partners that have already expressed interest. I may not be able to mention all of them, but I am very, very much aware that people are coming on board, and others as individuals looking through their stock of goods and foods to just make sure that they take this opportunity and be represented as we support our fellow women that are in the correctional facilities. So very, very much welcome. If you would want to do that, feel free to contact us or reach out to KBN as well, because they are in touch with us. We could hear from you through them, for us to be able to collectively work together and support a fellow woman experience a life that is full of joy, a life that will give them hope for tomorrow.
All right. Which platform can they use to just get in touch with you? Is it on Facebook, or maybe you would want to share a contact line? Which one would you go for as we close? And your concluding remarks. Yeah.
All right. As we close, we are on Facebook. We have a World Vision page that is running on Facebook, so you could get in touch with us on Facebook or get us on Twitter, LinkedIn, almost on all social media platforms. We are accessible, and if you want to come to us physically, we are along Redis Road on plot number 51/52, just opposite Mom's Clinic. So please do feel free to get in touch with us, and we know that together we'll be able to make a difference in the lives of the women, the children, and hence contributing to their well-being.
All right. Well, Madam Ekwase, thank you very much for making an appearance on Lunchtime Chat.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here, and happy holidays to everybody.
All right. That was Madam Ekwase Msoni Kiyama, who is the Director Strategy, Impact and Learning at World Vision Zambia. This afternoon, we're looking at Christmas and giving back to the community, because World Vision will be donating to Chimbokaila Correctional Facility. That's on Monday. And if you also want to be part of the donation, just search for them on Facebook, get to like their page, and find out more information on how you can just be part of the team that will be donating. Remember, a hand that gives is blessed than the one that receives. And remember, this is a festive period, time to just give. And if you have a lot of things that you want to share, feel free to share that. I've been your host, Taisia Chela. We'll see you tomorrow at exactly 13 hours on Lunchtime Chat. KBN TV, the finest television. Goodbye.